Today's guest hails from Louisville, Kentucky, and his basketball stops have led him to Minot, building a travel dynasty and wanting to help players grow on and off the court. He buys into his players, and they buy into his approach to get better every day because Academy kids never stop. Joining me now is Earnest Bell of the Earnest Elite Academy. We are just out a little bit east of Ned Rose in the gym where all the work gets put in. I know that's one of your favorite taglines to talk about the academy lessons. You got a lot of great high school players that have gone on to college levels that have come right through this gym. So let's kick it off right now the way you guys run things around here. What's your basketball coaching and maybe skill building philosophy that you have with your elite academy teams and kids that come here and just work out individually with you?
The difference between me and everybody else, I deal more with mental toughness, along with the skill development and things like that, which most people can do. Not saying who's the best at skill building, but my biggest thing is I work on the mental aspect of the game. When things get tough, how you react. When you get certain fouls or just everything comes with it mentally, you can fight through. And then that's where my kids shine the most because they're mentally tough.
Why is that so important to you, coaching in general? And you have young kids coming up through your ranks, and it seems like the message is the same no matter what. Why do you put a ton of emphasis on that?
Because basketball's I was always taught and growing up, basketball is 90% mental and 10% physical. It's all a mental game. It's gonna be things in the game that's gonna throw you off, make you upset, get you down. Mentally, how can you fight through that? And coaches love those mental tough kids. So I'm from Louisville, Kentucky. It's a dog eat dog world there. So we brought up on the courts, older guys telling us, "You ain't tough, you can't play on this court," which in turn you can't make it in high school, middle school, and then life skills too as well, and life as well. How you gonna handle things in life if you can't handle, things on the court as well. So it's all mental toughness. It's been my biggest thing since growing up to now. So.
And also the moniker, no matter what you're trying to build, this tagline of Academy Kids, we will never stop. What does that mentality mean to you, these young players, and the parents that have to be supportive of kids building their basketball game?
Well, it goes back to, Louisville, Kentucky, when, everything is cutthroat. There's no A, B, C team. He's on one team, that's it. So you have to work hard. So I was out running around my block every day. People, in my neighborhood would say, "Man, Ernest is running around the block again," and I would never stop because I didn't want to get cut. So that's where it comes from. I didn't want to get cut, so I never stopped working. And I never got cut.
Yeah, you talk about that being like the scene down in Louisville, and it might be different up here in North Dakota. So how is it? Is it tough at all to get those youth players to buy into that message at all?
It is. It is. The biggest difference here I see is there is a lot of money around here. Like these people in North Dakota have done well for themselves, rightfully so. And they're telling their kids, "Don't worry about it. You can go to college anyway. I got you. Don't worry, you're going to college anyway." That was never told to me. Either you get a scholarship or you weren't going to college. My mom could afford no college. So either go, get a scholarship or be on these streets, smoking weed, drinking, selling drugs. That's going to be you. So my thing here is the difference. These kids, they know they're going to go. They know it. So they don't know how to work hard for it. Now I'm not saying the person's wrong, but there's no sense of working for something if you know you're gonna get it anyway. So I tell my daughter all the time, if you don't get a scholarship, you ain't going to college. I don't know how you're gonna do it. I can't get you there. I can't pay for it. So it's our mindset. And all my kids I coach. All my college kids that they go to college now. I told them growing up, look, you better get a scholarship. But what along comes with that with scholarship is, this, and this. The free books, free food, things like this where other people have to pay. They got to worry about them checks coming in every day. If the parents going to get check payment, can they get their books on time? Scholarship, you worry about all that. It's free. You just go in one room, get your books, and leave. It's a big difference. So I want these kids to understand, and working hard for something is always more gratifying than getting it given to you. So I want my kids to understand, work hard. And that's the big difference. I see everybody here just a little different, as far as working hard for something. Now, not every kid's like that here. All my academy kids, they come to see me because they want to work. They come here because their parents want them to work for something. And come and see me, they're going to work. I ain't going to put up with no crap. I'm going to push them. I'm going to make them be great. I'm going to do my best. The parents, the ones that come see me, they know that. So the ones that don't come see me, there's the ones who, don't want to work as hard, So it'll show. It always does. It always does. So
Seems like this basketball mentality that you're teaching kind of transcends from an origination of like where you were born out of in
yes.
Louisville, Kentucky. Do you feel like if you were in like a different situation when it comes to just playing on a certain basketball team, would it be tougher for you yourself as a young player to adapt to that anymore?
I, you know, everything's still the same in Texas, Louisville, New York, Cali. Everything's still the same there. The bigger cities, things is the same. Minneapolis, it's just North Dakota's different. If I went to school here, I would average 50 points, easy. It's not tough enough. The skill level is not there because, for one, the parks is not as packed. You can't go in an inner city, New York, Washington, and the park's not packed. That's where you learn. So that's why we got to play AAU ball. But that's the number one thing I see around here is just the competition level is different.
So you've, of course, branched out. You have these area kids here that play up through high school varsity and stuff, and you take young players to several different traveling tournaments.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about where academy teams have been able to compete, along with your emphasis on having kids play maybe a grade level or two up to develop them better.
Well, the difference is, again, everything goes back to where I was born and how I was raised. And it's a different world here, So when we play up or when we travel, you had to play against best competition. My travel teams, third grade, I'm associated with a few travel teams here. My third grade team, girls team, good team. They come off right from the gate, start winning. My fourth grade travel team, winning. My third grade boys winning. I got kids on certain other travel teams that win, but they have to go outside of Minot to play against Bismarck teams and Fargo teams. But instead with that, that's still not good enough because once you start beating those teams, then what's left? So then with my girls and my boys, my Heat boys, my Sun boys, the first two boys travel teams, we played up. Who was the best team in our grades? So I said, chicks going back to Louisville. When you go to the parks, you're playing against a 28-year-old, 30-year-old, 40-year-old, old men with beards, beating you up, showing you how to be hungry, showing you how to win, showing how to be relentless, resilient. So now you got to play up so you can get beat up. We play up. We don't care about winning. We know we're supposed to lose. We know. I just want you to play hard, be resilient, fight to the end. So we play our grade level, we demolish kids. And all my travel teams the same way. My Sun boys, we played up. Play our level, we dominated. My Heat boys, we played up. Play our same grade level, we dominated. My Smart girls, same thing. Playing up is equivalent to playing against older kids where I come from in the neighborhood, or where all the guys, come from the neighborhood. So that's where I get it from right there.
Yeah, you either got to do that or go noon ball at the Y pretty much around here, huh?
Yeah.
Man,
Pretty much.
I know I see you at the games all the time, whether it's in the regular season or the tournaments. So
Yes.
obviously you probably get a lot of feedback from your players about what they also want to do to get better. So I'm wondering kind of how do you cultivate a game plan for a specific player, and then how could an academy work out, whether it's for a travel team or individually, maybe differ from what players might see in a school affiliated program from the youth level all the way to a varsity program?
Well, that's why I go to the game so I can see what they can do better, or what they can do in that offense, or where they can get their shot off, or where they get rebound, things like that. I can see myself. You know, I got a lot of kids who get a little frustrated about how they've been, how things working with them, but we have no excuses at the academy. You know, so I go and see what they can adjust to, what I see they can really do better, and we work on that. We there's no excuses. We don't. I don't worry no matter coaches this, coaches that. Just do your job, you know, and I'll show you what to do to in the offense to help you out. So it's a must that I go to these games to see these kids, you know, and if they like me there too as well. But I'm there to, you know, look and see what's going on and see things they miss out, what they could do. Because all kids always come back and say, I didn't do this. I didn't do. No, I'm saying no. You have plenty of opportunities to do this. You know, no, I was at the game. You have plenty of chances to do this. Now let's work on where you can do this at, and when that's how I help out my older kids, all my kids, you know, to get better at what they do at their craft.
When you get to like these tournament travel settings, AAU travel
Yes.
team, whatever, things like that, what are maybe some misconceptions to it that maybe some detractors might have about it, and why do you think people maybe take a different stance towards
Because
it?
they don't believe in these kids. They don't believe in these kids, man. They don't think these kids can play. They don't think these kids can play, you know, which is that's a difference between me. Everybody in the academy, I see potential in them, you know. And the biggest conception that this messed up is they want to win all the time. They want to win all the time. You ain't gonna win everything all the time. You don't live in Iowa where we go. You don't live in Denver. You don't live in Minneapolis. You don't live in, you know, wherever we go. You try to be the best player in North Dakota, might not. But by playing against the best competition, you'll be better in might not. So that's what, you know, they messed up thinking, why about kids can compete? They might not. But how you don't? How you know? How you know? You know, let's go ahead and see. So they can say, I gotta work on this, and this bomb. Because they're not getting hurt. You play the same kids all the time. All the time. How you get better playing the same kids all the time? It's impossible to get better.
I think it's something that obviously I think you probably won't have to deal with, like with some of your teams, because you require from the outset, it seems, kids to buy in a lot. But maybe how do some travel organizers that are also in your shoes maybe combat players from jumping from team to team, maybe for the wrong reason of like, hey, they just want to win and maybe they're not putting the work in. They just want to get W's somewhere, because ultimately it might call loyalty into question, like versus like you're in your high school team, man.
Right.
And I know there's some movement that could be like to a public or a private school, but AAU, it kind of seems a little more free. How do
Yeah.
you feel like organizers need to maybe get kids to avoid that kind of mentality? Like they want to win, but it seems it's coming from a complacent place.
Uh, it's a tough one. You just have to understand the process. You know, you don't go to AAU think you're gonna win. You don't. You go there to play against best competition. It's all about. You know, if you win, hey, great job. But you still live in Minot. You know, don't forget, you live in Minot. You know, that's all you want. And, you know, I urge you, I'm urging all my coaches who are working with travel teams, these lower travel teams, that let's go out and play AAU. You know, they start third grade AAU. Take my boys out there and my girls out there. Let them play. You know, because and the process is they will see each year you see the difference. You know, so and everybody wants their kid to be good. They do. They can say it. They can say they don't want to. They do. They do. And my job is to, if you do, let me have them. Let me have them. Let me show you what I can do with them. You know, because the kids want to be good too. They want it too. You know, and some of these people don't think these kids are good enough. That bothers me though. Like, you know, yeah, I'm from an all black area. I ain't seen a white kid when I was growing up until I got to middle school. And buses started happening back in the early 70s. So all the blacks went to white schools where I come from, and all the whites went to black schools, and, in my area. So it was good for everybody, but I didn't see a white person until then. So, take these kids out. Let them mix it up a little bit. They can handle it. They can handle it. But some of these people don't trust these kids, don't believe in them.
Seems like it's good to know what's out there no matter where you're pursuing, right?
No matter what, man. No matter what. And these kids are tough enough. These Minot kids, North Dakota kids are tough. They're resilient, aggressive. They just, I gotta say, they probably more resilient than where I grew up, because, granted, there's a lot of things, in my neighborhood, in inner city areas, that sidetracks a lot of these kids, unlike here. But these are tough kids here mentally. They tough, man. I mean, some of these kids blow me away, like for real, but that's why, I go to the parents and talk to them and say, hey, boy's academy kid, But yeah, some people have the misconceptions about me. That's fine. Look at my track record, though. Look at my track record. I got studs all over the place. I got studs coming up. You ain't seen nothing yet. You ain't seen nothing yet. I got plenty of studs coming up.
One more question on just when you get to a tournament day, and I don't think this really happens for your teams the way, again, you bring them in and just
Right.
with that mentality is people have argued that maybe sometimes over the course of a day, players the meaning of winning and losing sometimes gets dumbed down a little bit because
Yeah.
they play 5 times in a day and they're oh, we lost this game and sure, we didn't get all the standings points, but we play in an hour, so whatever.
Yeah.
And that doesn't usually happen, I would assume, with the Elite Academy teams. But at the same time, when you guys are walking around these tournaments and maybe you get a chance to watch a team that you play later in the day, is it really easy to just see, by the way a team's body language is, how they're playing a game, that they're in that stuck in making circles mindset? And can you guys kind of just really capitalize on not feeling that way, I guess, when you play them? So hopefully you can beat them.
Human nature. Human nature. Once you play against certain teams over and over again, the human nature factor kicks in. We won this. We won this tournament before. We won this game before. We play them again. That's human nature. It happens. That's just human nature. You just have to. You have to be. You got to play those shoes. You have to play the game. You know what I'm saying? I draw off my Louisville upbringing, but my where I played at and where I've been. So I go off that type of stuff too. I've been in games where you play a team 3 times in one season. I've been in programs where you play 2 back-to-back games. I've been overseas, where you gotta they pay you to play. You don't put numbers up, they cut you. I've been in situations like that. So I draw off all those things. So I know when the lackadaisical thing comes and where you see things like that. I hear from all the time from other travel teams where they won this tournament, they beat this team, then this team beat them. They go back and forth, like that. I don't go back and forth.
And it could even come from a positive place. Say you're scheduled to play 4 games and you go 3-0. How do you get the kids to, just get woken up again for that 4th game, even if they're having an easy time, so they don't slack off going up and down the court?
It's called experience. You have to be you have to be in those kids' shoes before to know that. You ain't played the game and you ain't been in those shoes. How you gonna motivate? So how you motivate these kids to play that 4th game? If you ain't been in the game, you ain't been nowhere where you have played 4 games in a row, how you gonna motivate them? What you gonna say to them? You ain't never done it before. So how you gonna tell? It's all about experience too as well. I ain't the great coach. I'm a creator and a motivator. But I draw my experience, and in my experience, I've been through everything these kids been through. I've been through everything. So I know how to motivate and I know to talk to give them before a 3-game, 4th game coming up. A game where you blow a team out and you happy, but the next game is going to be crazy tough, but you're happy with that 1st game. No, I get them ready for the 2nd game and the 3rd game. The Grand Am is a perfect example is Grand Am. You go into Grand Am, you got to play. You win the 1st game, lose the 1st game, you out. You go right to loser bracket. You If you win that game, play the next. You play the second game. Lose that one, you out for the tournament. So it's either go to Grand Am, I lose first game, I get 5 games, and I go get fifth spot, the best you can get. Or I keep winning and win a championship game. I lose one more after that, I'm done.
Don't come all this way for 2 losses.
For 2 losses, right? So my thing is either we'll go down here and win the whole thing, or we're not going at all. Because if you lose first game, the best thing you need to get is fifth spot. If you lose that second game, you're done out of the tournament.
Straight up.
Straight up. So, again, I've been in a situation before. So I know I prepared them each time for each game. I know what the second game is going to be, the third game how it's going to be. I know 8 o'clock in the morning how it's going to be. We get up 6 o'clock and eat breakfast. Get ready to go at 7. Get to the gym o'clock by 7:30 and warm up. 8 o'clock in the morning, still sleepers in your eyes. I know how to motivate them because I've done it before plenty of times. That's the difference right there.
You get these kids going through high school, they're going to go play college. You see you got plenty of kids coming up. One of them I definitely want to spotlight is your daughter, LeeLee.
Yeah.
She looks like she's going to be an awesome player moving forward. She's in 6th grade now, nominated recently to the Cream of the Crop 5-star list for the class of 2026. That's a national list, Ernest.
Yes.
I know you put up a tough front that you definitely believe in to coach the players, but what does it mean to you to have your daughter have that kind of success already?
Crazy. I never, what I thought she'd be that good at this level, at this age, sorry. But, in bigger cities, they rank all the time like that. They rank you all the time like that. Coming out of middle school, I was 3rd best player in Louisville. Louisville's a big city. I was number 3 ranked. Get to high school, I'm number 50 ranked. And 2 guys in front of me, they was 49, 48. So it's like, wow, you go from the 3rd best middle school player, like, oh my God, you think you're a stud.
That kind of check you a little bit?
Yeah, it checks you. So it's like, okay, LeeLee, it's good. It's just good. But, each year it's different. So each year, I was proud of her. I was super proud of her, but I let her know right away, hey, it's a different year, homegirl. You got to put even more work in. I go, and like she said, our goal is to be number 1 best player.
Yeah. And she's driven. She's talking to us about it, like when we did the story on the news about it. She wants to be number 1. She knows she wants to do that right now. And you could be like, okay, LeeLee, that's great. Way to go. Top 50 in the class of 2026. By the way, 2026 is 6 years away.
Exactly right. So it's like, LeeLee, I love you. I appreciate it. It was awesome. But girl, we got a long way to go here.
Where do you think her career trajectory can lead based on the skills she's got now and just the work ethic, man? I mean, it doesn't seem like it's hard to get her in the gym to keep working out.
With her, sky's the limit, man. The way the game has changed now, to where, I grew up at her age, I was more in the post. It was more grind down low. Everything was mid-range. Everything was, inside. Then the game has changed to where it's mid-range on out, along with driving, things like that. So her dribbling skills, along with hopefully she gets taller, the game has changed. There's no more post man no more. That is gone. You got Candace Parker, who used to go to Tennessee, play for LA Sparks. Candace Parker was 6'5", 6'4". She did everything. That's LeeLee's favorite girl player, Candace Parker. And I show her, we watch Candace Parker all the time. Along with Kevin Durant is number 1, and Jordan is number 2, what I'm saying? So we watch these people all the time. And we pat our game after these people, mid-range, driving, rebounding, block shots. So with her potential, she got a lot. She is endless with her, but she has to keep working. And people say, hey, Ernest, maybe you push her too much. No, that's all she gonna do. I don't force her to do nothing.
You don't force anybody to do nothing.
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't force anybody to do nothing. I don't force them to. You won't come, you come. You don't. That's what it is. But don't get mad at your parents or the coaches when they cut you and put you on B squad, C squad. What are coach supposed to do? What are coach supposed to do? You ain't better than John Blow over here or Sandy over here who's been putting the work in for so many years before you. But you just want to show up and say, I should play. No, man. No. The ones put the most work in deserves to play.
But what if they're a freshman?
So if they're a freshman, I started as a freshman in high school. Doesn't happen very often.
You get 7th graders at the B now,
Yeah, easy. It don't happen very much. But where I come from, it happens a lot because the coaches say, hey, this freshman is better than this junior. I'm playing this freshman. And we don't care who don't like it. I'm going to play the best players on this team, make us better. We don't see it like they see it around here. We don't see it like that. They blows my mind. Like they honestly think a junior should get more playing time than a freshman who's better than you. It makes no sense to me.
Where does that kind of leave you with either if you're watching LeeLee play high school or any other academy kid? I mean, what does it make you feel if you don't see that? I mean, obviously, you're not going to be the kind of guy to be in a coach's ear about any of your kids. But at the same time, I mean, what kind of choices do kids have, if they want to get more time? Or, what's your opinion on that?
Put the work in. Put the work in. That's what I built Academy for. When I first got here, I went to the park. Nobody showed up for a week. 4 o'clock, I'm there every day. Old Hammond Park. No one showed up. I'm like, what is going on here? I first moved from, I'm thinking, Park, play. For a week, nobody showed up. I'm saying to myself, this is what it is now. Met one of my greatest parents on my first travel team, Mrs. Vetter, Julie Vetter, saw me at the Y working out. Ernest, hey, I got a few kids I want you to see. Can you work out with them? Jim Moan was a coach. Luke Moan played on his team, his son. I said, I just came from overseas. I'm saying to myself, I don't want to do this. I said, okay, if the kids can make left-hand layups, I think it was fourth graders. They make left-hand layups, I can work with them. 4th grade, you can't do a left-hand layup. I come from, dudes is dunking, so I'm like, okay. So I watched them, I was like, holy crap, these boys is good. Jim Moan did a great job, these boys. So I started assisting Jim Moan. And I just told him, I'm ready to go. Listen, we are not going to be out here begging for no positions. We ain't going to be begging these coaches. If y'all don't put the extra work in, you don't deserve to get nothing. And I took that model from that, my son's team, it was a great team, my Heat boys team, great team, to my Sparks, and to the academy. If you don't put the work in, I tell them, don't blame the coaches. I don't want to hear it. Now, they put the work in, they do well, and they showing their skills, and they stay in playing, then, the parents will go to war for you. But the parents won't see you put that work in. But if you don't put the work in, why would parents go to war for you? Why would the parents do it? Well, why? It makes no sense. The coach is going to say, what kind of work they doing? I ain't saw them all summer. That's what the coach is going to say, So my thing is, I try to do everything. I know what coach is going to say. I know what they're looking for. So my goal is to make sure my kids' academy has everything in line so when time comes, they will play. That's my biggest goal right there.
I've only been here for 5 years, and I've seen this happen no matter what level it is. We've had, Deshaun Eikens from Williston. He heads out west to
Louisville, Kentucky. He's from my hometown.
Yep, to a higher profile program to finish out high school. We're right by Ned Rose. Donald Gerard went to Bismarck High, Class A footprint there for sure. Let's say if LeeLee continues to put the work in and stuff, and you go to war for every best opportunity, where do you think maybe a route for her to go for high school ball is?
Man, she's 6th grader. She has a lot of time. I got a lot of options. I'm not saying she's going anywhere right now. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying she's going to Mita High. I ain't saying she's going to Art Demers. I ain't saying nothing. All I'm saying is, if I feel like wherever she goes and she's not where she's supposed to be, then we're out. Because there's no way in the world no 6th grader, 5-star, top player, one of the top players in the nation, gonna ride the bench somewhere. No offense, and I'm not one of those dads, but no, because she go put the work in. She's always gonna do that, along with all my girls, not just LeeLee, all my girls. all my academy kids if they stick with it.
LeeLee already wants to be the number one player, of course. Did she kind of share that sentiment with you at all?
Yeah,
or?
she wants to be number one player. She wants to. I talked about Mrs. Basketball. I talked about all the levels she can get to. She wants to go two places, either Oregon. Her cousin is out there, and her cousin's a top player out there too as well. Berlin, she's a top player out there too. 8th grader. She works out with a few Portland Trailblazers out there as well. So she has Berlin, and she's been up in the academy. They too. I mean, they talk together. So she went Oregon and then UConn. We really, after Kobe Bryant died and how he died with the daughter being on the plane, it really it killed me. And then after I explained to LeeLee and we sat down, we talked and we talked about him been playing together and how sad it was and seeing it. I got texts from everybody saying they remind me of me and LeeLee. The first thing I thought about was me and LeeLee. And now we just try to follow Gigi's footsteps and what Kobe Bryant did. Kobe don't push his daughter. He didn't push his daughter. She wanted it. And so he worked with her. So we try to, still try to, live up to that legacy where she left, what she could have had, what she could have been. So we try to fill that, try to fill that void a little bit too as well.
That relationship that Kobe and Gigi have, obviously, father-daughter,
Yeah.
player coach. The parallel line between
Yes.
the U4 is pretty straight on. So yeah, just how did that event affect both you guys, and have you gotten closer within just the working out part too?
We got closer with the working out part. But we also got closer with the traveling part. The traveling part was, was really we grew. Like we play for Taylor Hill, so we go outside of Earnest Elite, my Sparks girls. We go play with them to big tournaments, and then just be us. So we grew a lot together in the hotels and eating and just sharing a lot, expectations, just being around each other. You know what I'm saying? So, and then coaching her since 3rd grade, 2nd grade, 1st grade, whatever. She know my style. And here's the funny thing about all my kids. My top player, Justin, my first player with college. He was playing for Phenom AAU, and then he said, "Ernest, man, I miss you yelling, get on me." He's like, the coach at Phenom didn't say nothing. He's like, it didn't motivate me. All my kids like me to get on them because they know they ain't doing something right. My parents love me because I get on them.
There was this analogy that came up just the other day. I saw an article, and this is a completely different sport, but I think it still applies. Was legendary hockey player Teemu Selanne, probably the best Finnish. Yeah. So there was a story, and this was on like Finnish radio. So this is like completely translated and everything.
Right.
Was between the coach that he had in Anaheim, where they won the Stanley Cup, was Randy Carlyle, and his latest coach towards the end of his career was Bruce Boudreau. Okay, and Randy Carlyle took him aside, saying, "We're having this film session where we're turning the ball or the puck over too much on the blue lines. Teemu, there's 12 clips. There's 2 of them of you, and I get you're a Hall of Famer, but I'm going to come down on you so hard because it's really going to get the point across to the team." And Teemu was all about that, and the message was received well, according to Selanne on the team. Go years later, where Teemu's an older player and Boudreau wants to get the younger guys in just for the sake of getting them. Maybe not skill-wise or whatever, but same film session, you see like the new guys, Corey Perry, Ryan Getzlav, they make the mistakes. And it was such a clear parallel for Teemu Selanne to see where Boudreau didn't come down hard on the superstars. And it even resonated with like the players that weren't as good as those 3 guys. How much of a detriment is it for a coach to be afraid of going after the top guys?
Big time. You hear it all the time. How Bill Belichick gets on Tom Brady in the film rooms and rips Tom Brady, a new one in the film rooms. Which means, like you just said, if I can get on Tom Brady, then everybody ain't going to listen to me. It's a detriment if you don't get on these kids. You don't get on them. They're going to do whatever they want to do. And then they're going to listen to you. They're not. There's no way in the world I would have been the player I was And I've been every level. Like, just a nice coach, tough coach. Boom, boom, boom.
The whole spectrum.
The whole spectrum. And it
1 to 10.
1 to 10. It always come back. I tell the nice coach, man, you get on me. I can't do this. You sitting over there being quiet. I can't, man. Am I doing something wrong? Am I doing something right?
Nerd drawing the play up. You got to get in my face a little bit.
Yeah, so you just, and it's not, everybody thinks yelling, and no, it's not. It's not yelling. It's just letting the kids, you see things on the court faster than they see it, and you just interpreting that, defense, box out right there, switch, you're just talking. You get a little frustrated. Yeah, I mean, that's what it is. But they know you're frustrated. But then you tell them why. Some coaches don't tell them why. That's the problem, I think, where it comes in. You yell at them or you get on them, but then you don't tell them why. Why you on them? Why that's the difference right there. So the most coaches, and I've laid back. Oh, good Lord, I've laid back. Oof. My sports girls ain't seen nothing. My sons, boys, oh my God, I was nuts. Technical fouls, I was bad. I had to adjust, here, the referees here where I come from, everything the referees understand how NCAA works. So the guy gets a little bit upset with it. The referee will talk to you a little bit, get in, draw with you a little bit. Hey, Ernest, this is what happened. Calm down. But here, man, you say, they just, a little something. Like, I can't talk to you. There's no talking to them. So I had to adjust quickly, my man. Like, boy, had to adjust quickly.
It was a tough recalibration for you.
For me, it is. Yeah. It is. So
could maybe imagine that, but
yeah, you're right. You have to be hardest on your toughest players. Nobody. I think Justin Ng, and Justin was probably the hardest outside of LeeLee. Justin was the hardest one. Out of all the kids, I was tough on all of them. I was tough on every last one of them. But Justin, I killed him. But St. Mary's for rest.
Bought in, yeah.
But yeah, you know what I'm saying? Purse had nothing to say,
When you were talking about some of the players that you and LeeLee kind of watch together, that take different things, whether you're playing rec ball or she's still playing on the teams and stuff, it was like Michael Jordan, Kevin Durant, Candace Parker. Now, Candace Parker, she went to Tennessee and then the Sparks, LA Sparks. But the high hopes for LeeLee are to go to Oregon or UConn.
Yeah.
Does she look up at all? Like Sabrina Ionescu is finishing off an outstanding career right now, or any maybe UConn players?
We just started looking at our girl right there. What's her name again?
Sabrina Ionescu.
We started because I just heard about her.
She's an all-around player.
Yeah, she's an all-around player, and I won't leave it the same way. So we just heard about her maybe a month ago. So we started looking at clips about her as well. So, but game-wise, you have to mirror your player after another player. You know what I'm saying? So LeeLee's game is not like hers. It's more like Candace Parker's. Shamika Holsclaw, before Candace Parker, Tennessee. Her game's more like that. She has a little bit of Jordan in her to where her mentality is, she won't do whatever it takes to win. If I got to score, she's going to score. Like, she scores with ease. Like she's scored like Kevin Durant, like her mid-range is good, like she scored with ease. But she passes the ball too, so you see the floor too.
Sabrina, she's another player that obviously, like, the whole basketball world was shaken by Kobe, but she had a relationship where I believe she spoke at one of like the viewings, or not a viewing, but one of the memorial.
Yes,
went like up and played at Stanford or something like the next day. So that was really powerful. In that vein, when you're just looking up to college players, and it's definitely different, I think, for maybe if you're following North Dakota college hoops, like, sure, you can have kids looking up to maybe the academy kids going to smaller schools, but like on a national scope, is it easier or maybe simpler or more common for girls to identify and look up to just the college level girls, because there's just so many one and dones in men's basketball where it kind of seems like you're already looking up to NBA players? Is there maybe more of a following to women's college players than men's?
It
in your
is
opinion?
because
On a national scope.
yeah, because girls don't look at college players, men players, because they don't know them, right? Because it's some one and dones. Like Grant Hill stayed 4 years, like Tim Duncan stayed 4 years. Candace Parker saw those kind of players. Nowadays, these boys is gone one and done. So Zaire from Duke was named Zaire Williamson.
Oh yeah, Zion Williamson.
Yeah, Lee don't know about him because he was one and done. You know what I'm saying? Like, if he had stayed 2-3 years and you should probably identify with him.
How does an elementary school kid root other than like a team rooting? You from third to fourth grade, the guys from high school 1 year of college, less than a full year of actual school, and then going to the NBA. I mean, I don't see it happening.
I mean, I think it's one of the main reasons why not so much is invested at the college level. They go right to pro. Like these kids go right to pro. My kids come out with pro jerseys. Like the ag. Like no college jerseys, none. It's all pro jerseys.
Didn't you get like a ring at the last youth tournament?
What?
Didn't you guys get like rings at the last youth tournament?
Yeah, I mean Minneapolis. Everything's big. Everything's big in other states. Like, again, I didn't know nothing about a ring, and we played with Taylor Hill, LeeLee, and Maggie Freaky. We played with them last summer and played in their state tournament. And we played against North Tartan, one of the top teams in Minneapolis, which Pete Stewart used to be. Julie Stewart used to coach at Bishop Ryan.
I was gonna say because we've talked a lot about LeeLee, just the way that she seems to have a pedigree so far anyway. But who's kind of been maybe some other success stories that the academy has seen, and some other players that you have now that you're really excited to see go to a next level, whether it's the high school or the college?
Well, I got all my son's boys are success stories. All of them, all over the school. No jail, no pregnancies. None of them. Bryce, Arizona, Wildcats. Justin, St. Mary's. Luke and Jackie, is it NSU, UND, junior, but to graduate. Mark Rodalla, Minot State. Nunziato, he's not a chiropractor.
Brad Nunziato from our Redeemers.
Yeah, our Redeemers. He's one of mine. None of them, no drugs, no jail, none of them. Success story, all of them. Heat boys, Anthony Vetter, college. Leighton Lang at Bismarck State doing work. Landon about to go there too, his little brother, one of mine. Had Landon since third grade. All my son boys. Peyton Lamore, playing football at Minot State. Logan Kruger, football at Minot State. Kruger's one of mine too as well. Like, Karina played.
Karina Verbitsky from South Prairie.
Yeah, Bethany College. Haley Roberts. Man, the list goes on, man. Like, and the future. I got Lorelei McIver, sophomore, a stud from Glenburn, you know her. Mm-hmm. Mines. Deanna Hines, freshman, started at Siri, Mines. Elise Altringer, our Redeemers, Giant, Mines. Vibado, Mines. All these studs are mine, man. Like, list goes on. Like, I got Paige, I got Markel, I got Olivia. These are 8th graders. I got Logan Conklin, 8th grade boy. I got Ty Hughes. It's about to get crazy here. Then I ain't talking about this, my 7th grade girls, my 6th. It's just I got Tioga girls. McKenna Lansford playing as 7th grader in Tioga as a varsity. And I got my stud from Kenmare, Mache.
You got a footprint. Yeah. You got a little bit of a footprint, huh?
Man, like my girls and boys are doing good, man.
You brought up a couple of like off the court good things, like to be an upstanding person going to college and all that stuff. How much do you look forward to staying in touch with everybody that you meet through the academy as they become successful in life in other ways that isn't basketball related?
All the time. I love it. Anthony Vetter is not playing basketball, but he's gonna be a doctor. His big brother a doctor too as well, so he could be a doctor. Like, all my boys is Luke and Jackie gonna graduate. Mark's gonna graduate. They didn't play ball. The only one still playing ball is Leighton and Justin. So it don't matter to me if you play ball or not. Long as you get up out of here, see the world, experience the world, don't do no drugs, don't do no crime, none of that stuff, and you good. And they got great parents. My son's parents, great parents. My parents, great parents. These parents say, Ernest, they're yours. Do what you want. Didn't get no back talk, no nothing. I coached the way I wanted to do it, the way I want. Didn't get nothing from these parents. It was mine, and that's it. If I said jump in the river, they'll jump. If I jump first, they'll follow me. That's how my boys was.
Time to jump, just how high, all that good stuff.
Yeah, all that good stuff.
When you were done playing basketball yourself, I mean, why did you want to keep staying in the game, make it the profession of the academy? Why does the game matter this much to you?
Coach Jerry Hemmings, man, and Brandon, my last school I finished out to, where he taught me how to make money, how to stay in shape. He taught me everything about the game. Like I got to Canada. After my mom died in '96, I was kind of all over the place. Didn't know what to do. I was heading toward that off road. And then the guy in North Carolina, where I was at the time, about to play for North Carolina Tar Heels, he told me about my mom passed away during the time. So the coach told me about the guy, Jerry Hemmings. I went up to Canada, and he gave me my first coaching job. I coached his son. And
Where was that?
In Brandon University, in Manitoba.
Yeah.
I coached his son. He said, Ernest, I think you'd be a coach. I'm like, Coach, I ain't. Just try it. And I loved it ever since then. I knew then that's what I wanted to do.
And you hail from Louisville, Kentucky, all over the world. We're gonna get into that
Yes,
anyway, all over the continent. But as we continue to branch out further, I wanted to wrap up maybe some of the North Dakota centric talk with you have your Elite Academy High School All-Star team. Okay, boys or girls, give your take on either one. If they have one of the 8 spots at the State B or the Class A tournament, how are they? Are they winning the whole thing? How are they doing?
If I was coaching one of them,
If you have all the high school field of high school teams at like the State B or the State Super A, and one of the slots is the Elite Academy All Stars,
okay,
a smattering of a bunch of kids from different high schools, but they come to the academy, or you win the state championship.
Easy.
Oh yeah,
easy.
Why is that?
Because mental tough. For one, we mentally tough. Mentally tough. 2, we gonna play hard. And 3, we ain't scared of nobody. Those 3 things right there, we gonna
Simple.
Simple. Simple.
There you go. Simple. Both sides, boys and girls, A and B.
Oh yeah, girls.
You got it.
Girls probably boys be tough. Girls be easy. Oh, that'd be easy.
Nice. All right. Now, from Louisville, Kentucky, obviously some blue bloods when it comes to college basketball, big time. You got University of Kentucky Wildcats, Louisville Cardinals, a couple championships on each side, all that good stuff. Where does your loyalty lie?
I'm a Cardinal.
Because you're right there in Louisville.
Right in Louisville.
UK is statewide.
Yeah.
Louisville's right there,
right
huh?
There, yeah, I'm a Cardinal all day.
And what's your best Louisville Cardinal memory? Did you go to a lot of games at all, or just following them?
I did.
Or was it tough seeing the way the long term look back of their championship with Pitino?
Yeah, it was Pitino was different. That era was kind of different. The game was changing at the time too as well, right? But '86 was great team. The best memories I had was going to Crawford Gym, and you could go in there as a fan, and you could watch them practice. And man, you talking about
this was Coach Pitino or someone else?
Denny Crum.
Okay.
And you talking about getting at it. I mean, they ain't there with no shirts on. I mean, they flying around the rim. I mean, they jumping, and you like, what? And you come in there and watch them play. Like, it was like a spectacle in there, like 8 o'clock every day. And then you could play too. And it's like, what? Get after these dudes? Like, on TV? Like, we see them and we just go watch. And like, man, that was our NBA. There's no NBA in Louisville. Like, there's no NBA team there. So it's all Louisville, So watching them play, we sit there and be in awe, like, oh my God, look at these dudes. So that's what we want to be like. We want to be a Cardinal.
What's going on with Papa John? Because
Yeah.
he's a Louisville guy, and then when I was in school, I saw Nerlens Noel versus Alex Len, Maryland versus Kentucky at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, and he's him and Holland with Kentucky colors on. What's his deal? What do you think of him?
Not too much of him, though.
Not too highly. He still tested his pizzas
Yeah,
out
that's
and all
right,
that
yeah.
stuff. Okay, well, just thought I'd ask.
Yeah.
Moving to the NBA, it seems definitely as of late to shifted to more of a versatile game.
Yes.
Positionless basketball. You have to have a full skill set,
Yes.
whether you're a traditional 1 to 5 size. Have you seen these ideas trickle down maybe to other levels of basketball?
Oh.
Are you teaching anything any differently now as opposed to then?
Yes, by far. Like everything's different.
Because you want them to be ready for whatever.
Yes,
Yeah.
like again, it's hard to just gotta adjust. You have to adjust. You gotta adjust. Wherever you are in the world.
You seem like you're being more careful now over that question. I'm surprised.
Yeah, you just gotta adjust. Wherever you are in this state, in these towns, wherever you are, you have to adjust to the game. Your style does not work all the time. The game is changing every day. I change the academy every day. I don't stick to the same thing. I change up every day. My big dudes, big girls, you got to handle the basketball. Ernest, my coach put me in a post. Yeah, but you ain't gonna be in a post in college. You ain't gonna be in a post, in high school. You gotta handle basketball.
Just because you're not doing it in the high school game because your coach says so, and you're not going to get in their ear, they still have to have it ready to go.
Yeah, you gotta have to get it ready to go. You just can't, because every kid ain't gonna grow to be 7 foot. Most kids ain't grow to be 6'7". I'm 6'6", and I'm one of the tallest kids in this daggone town. Ain't no like where I come from. You get 6'8", you see it all the time. It ain't popping off around here. So most kids gonna be guards. So stop it. Handle the basketball. Let these kids. If you truly want these kids to do something, let these kids expand their game. Because if they don't, they're not gonna go nowhere.
We touched a little bit on mobility at the travel level, and that's another thing that's really coming to play in the NBA. What do you think about player mobility and the super teams versus sticking with one?
I'm not with all the super teams, because I grew up, everybody had a good team. In the 80s, everybody had a good team. Everybody at least had a good starting 5 and a good 2, 3 off the bench. Every team. But nowadays, the money is different. But the money is contracts. They gonna go where the money is. It's still, and I wouldn't say it's still LeBron James now. I mean,
yeah, like how new is it really? I mean, you could look back, and there's been like teams of the decade where the older guys are like, well, that's a super team, but there's just wasn't as much money and salary structure involved compared to like the Miami Heat or the Clippers and the Lakers and things that of today.
Yeah, I mean, people say Chicago Bulls had a super team because they had Robin, Pippen, and Jordan. Well, Robin was on pretty much his last end. Pippen was still kind of his prime, and Jordan was pretty much at his last end. So, there wasn't a super team. I don't think a super team. But Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett, and Ray Allen. That was a super team to me.
All like the Lakers during, before, and a little after Magic. I mean, those teams were stacked, but they just weren't making the money.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They had a stacked team. Boston had a stacked team, but it was all through trades, and the money wasn't like that. But now you're making so much money now, everybody get mad. I don't blame Kevin Durant for going to the Warriors. I don't blame him doing that. I don't blame him. I mean, he want to win a championship, and it's kind of like a football thing. You're not putting. Tom Brady leaves the Patriots because I think he didn't have enough. So you want him to stay over here and keep getting beat up.
He didn't have enough for years.
Yeah, for years.
They were still winning.
But you want him to still do this over and over again. But to basically, I give you this and better players. What do you think he's going to do? What do you think he's going to do? What's Kevin Durant going to do? What's Kevin Durant going to do? Like, what are you supposed to do? What did LeBron James do? He can stay in Cleveland.
This is an old story even by now, but yeah, him leaving the Thunder when they were up 3-1 didn't help his case at all. But I mean, yeah, what are you gonna do? And the other
LeBron did it.
Yeah, the other side of it was, and LeBron went on to like pretty much rule the East. But another thing, just talking about social media and players kind of like getting in cahoots or whatever to plan about like where they're going to go like 1 or 2 years out. Do you think that's really harmful? Does it get players kind of soft when they have social media beefs at all? I mean, what's your take on that?
It takes the competition out of the game, really. Because Jordan said all the time. Jordan wouldn't go join Barkley. Barkley would go join Bird. Bird would go join Magic. They want to beat each other. But GMs put together teams to beat these teams. These GMs ain't putting together these teams. So these players saying, I'm gonna do it. I do it on my own. But that's what these contracts you're giving these guys is leverage you're giving these guys are allowing them to do that. So it's the same thing. Only difference is the players are doing it. GM's been doing it for years. But now the players are doing it and haven't got a problem with it.
Who do you have in the NBA Finals this year, and who has the most to lose? I'm going to be optimistic. When the league comes back, who has the most to lose from the playoff fields right now?
Well, I think it's going to hurt the Clippers the most because they haven't played together with this group. I thought they was going to win it.
They purposely took games off though, and
yeah, they did. But you still need that. You got to have camaraderie. The Lakers has been playing together, for what almost 60-some games, 40-some games.
Yeah.
So they've been camaraderie's been growing. The Clippers have a better team, but you got to play together. Kawhi was taking his times off. Paul George's been hurt. Beverly just got back. So they don't have enough time to gel, I don't think, to win it. So this break hurt them the most.
Are you taking anybody in the Eastern field besides Milwaukee?
Listen, I'm not the one who thinks Ben Simmons and BK play together.
You're not going to hurt my feelings.
No.
No.
I'm not one of those guys. They should stay together. They should play together. They can't play together. They need to stay together. But outside of 76ers, I think Boston been looking good too lately. I mean, they been coming on strong too. Camaraderie's good with them.
Stevens always gets his players to play up a little bit.
He does.
For how much credit do you give Nick Nurse with the Raptors team? Not only the team that won the whole thing when Kawhi was going off, because I saw it when they beat the Sixers, but even this season, the Raptors are right back there again.
Right back there. I think he was a 10-game winning streak before it's all ended. I mean, and they're playing with a chip on their shoulders. Okay, we love Kawhi, but we're going to show people we can do it without him. So they're playing with an extra chip on their shoulder too as well. I don't think they have enough. But they're playing well, though, so I give him a lot of credit. He should be Coach of the Year right now.
Siakam's going to have to be that postseason killer that Kawhi was last year and play pretty much everywhere,
It's going to be a total team effort with them. But if I had to come out of the East, I would say Milwaukee and Philadelphia in the championship, in the Eastern Conference Championship. And then I would say Clippers and the Lakers. No, Houston ain't got enough. You get rid of the big boy side. I don't think that style don't win. That style doesn't win.
You see, like James Harden taking tip off or whatever.
That don't. The 15 dribbles up top of the key. That ain't gonna win. That ain't gonna win no NBA championship. It's just too much. It's too. No ball movement. No. That ain't gonna win. You try 2-3 years of the road.
You talk about a guy earning his stripes in coaching profession throughout Europe. Nick Nurse is that. But with that in mind, last thing on just the finals shaking. Well, first of all, who do you got in the finals?
Lakers, Clippers, and then Milwaukee and Philadelphia.
When you talk about the East, which of the teams is beating Toronto and Boston if it's going to be Milwaukee and Philadelphia?
Well, I think Toronto ended up playing Milwaukee. Milwaukee beat them, and I think Boston and Philadelphia have a head-to-head. Philly beat them, and then it'd be those two. Yeah, it'd be those two. And I don't think Philly got enough shooters, but they got a big man inside, which still is devastating. It's still devastating. So I'm gonna say Milwaukee in 7.
I would too.
And then I'm gonna say, just because this break might hurt the Clippers, I'm still gonna say the Clippers. I would never pick LeBron James over nothing. No offense.
Because you hate him or what? Come on, be honest. You're gonna pick the Clippers still over the Lakers?
Yes, I don't hate him. I don't think he's nowhere near Jordan. And this debate these people are having, it makes no sense.
So then you're picking the Clippers over the Bucks then? You almost have to.
I almost have to, yeah. Clippers.
Okay. All right.
Who you saying?
Well, I'm a Sixers fan, but I'm taking the Lakers over the Bucks in the finals.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'll admit, every fault that the Sixers have. I felt like, I mean, it's messed up how the league had to stop, but I mean, the Sixers were in a tailspin, and I wouldn't have been surprised if the season continued that they would have even played Milwaukee in the first round because they were so bad.
Are you one of the guys who think Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons can't play together?
They work, for sure, but I mean, it was just tough. Like, there's a can of worms with the front office and ownership group there, and I don't think they completely let Jimmy Butler do his thing. Jimmy Butler is one of my favorite players in the league, and to lose him was tough. And like, you can't even blame Jimmy Butler for leaving at that point anyway. Historically, obviously, you've been following the game for a long time. Who do you have in your pre-2005 and then since 2005, and who takes that game of 21?
This era?
2000s and on, and then before 2000.
How far are we going back in? How far are we going back in the 90s?
I'm going to like the year one. So you could take Magic Johnson. You could take anybody.
I'm taking Eric Jordan over everybody.
Oh, yeah? No matter who else is on it? That's fair enough. That's a good one because that can be a real convoluted topic for sure.
Yeah, I'm taking Eric Jordan over everybody, man.
And this might, I don't know if this is a follow-up or what, but if we rein it back in here to the academy, if you could have one current player, this is a list, so you have multiple guys. You have to choose one. One current player to choose from, one former player, and one coach all time to come and guest teach an academy workout. Who would you have?
My favorite?
You have one player that's in the league right now, one former player, and then one coach all time to come to the academy and teach the kids. Who do you want to have coming to the gym?
I will Jordan, Kevin Durant, and the coach. I would love to be. There's so many good coaches out there. Like I like Pat Riley. I like Phil Jackson. I like Dale Brown.
The homer answer. There you go.
Yeah, Dale Brown. I like Dale Brown.
Why do you pick Dale Brown over everybody?
I met Dale Brown.
Oh yeah, me too. But
him and Shaq. I met him on base a couple years ago. His style, his style is team ball. Team ball. Even after Shaq left, even before Shaq, he always had good teams. So even after Shaq left, he had good teams too. But my top one I really would love to come speak. It would have to be Phil Jackson.
There you go. You just changed off it anyway, just like that.
Yeah, because Phil Jackson, to put Jordan in a triangle and use the whole court, both sides of the court, and then implement it to another, Lakers, and went three in a row, and just use the triangle is both sides of the court. You go sideways, you go sideline.
I mean, by the triangle too, obviously, a ton of titles for Phil Jackson. The Lakers were winning in 08, 09 as of late. I mean, gone to the finals and stuff like that.
About five, my bad, 5. He went 3, and then took a break, came back and won 2 more.
Yeah, with the Kobe Powell team.
But it's just the fact that how the ball is moved, side to side. But you would really love to have a college coach in here, really, because you
pick a college coach then.
College coach I would love to have.
Dale Brown, LSU.
or Mike Krzyzewski. Dean Smith would be one of my favorites. Dean Smith. Because the college game is still love of the game. It's all about love. I think a few head coaches in the NBA can lose their love because these players, these star players don't, it's more about the money, their image, their brand. Back in the days, these coaches, you can get on star players. You can tell them they ain't nothing, and they'll listen to you. But you can't tell these kids now, like you can tell Odell Beckham, you can't tell them nothing. Like Antonio Brown, these dudes, like, come on, man. Like,
these dudes.
Yeah.
You picked Kevin Durant to come to this gym, but do you have any concern with your current players that follow the NBA that might think not the same as you? You don't blame him
No.
for going to Golden State, but a lot of people think he's soft for that, so maybe he doesn't resonate with all your academy kids.
In the ghetto, we say game, recognize game. I don't care what they say, where you went.
Do they say that in the academy too? Or
Yeah,
what?
we do.
Yeah, okay.
We know who can play, who can't play. So they know direct play. They know if he was still playing, he'd be the best player in the league right now, by far. So game recognize game, no matter where you go. So that's the difference between me and everybody else. I see through all the red tape. Can the man play? Yes, he can. That's all you got to worry about.
Did more motivation come for you personally, and ultimately more joy out of playing from little kid all the way through versus coaching kids now?
I equate it like Michael Jordan said. When you lift the game, it's different because he's your owner. When the game's played, you have no imprint on the game. Where when you play, you could So now I don't play, so I have no imprint when they're playing. I can't get out there and do it. You know what I'm saying? So you have to love the game is still the game. You always gonna be the game. You always gonna be out there. It's different though, like you said, it's different. Like you can't. So you got to find other ways to teach it that way. But everybody wants to still play that game.
What is the ultimate goal you have for all your academy players that you get to coach?
Every last one of them to be successful, no drugs, no jail, go to college, experience the world, get a good career, come back, take care of your parents when they get old and can't drink and can't do anything. You take care of them, and at some point, it comes down, and I knew it, 8th grade is when I knew it was about my parents than me, or my mother than me. Everything she sacrificed for me, you got to flip it and say, I got to do for you. At some point in time, all these kids, you got to say, you know what, mom and dad, you done so much. Traveling tournaments, taking me here, taking me there. At some point, it comes back to what I got to do for you. It means getting a scholarship, not going to jail, not doing drugs, not being out in these streets, not being one of these girls who's doing these wild things, not doing these boys who's doing these wild things. Be an upstanding community person and make a good life for yourself so your parents can be happy.
Be good all around, everybody love everybody.
That's it.
That's it. All right, Ernest, thanks.
Thank you, my man.